Hello students, welcome back to your English literature class. In your previous session, you had done the explanation of lines 93 till 129 of Act 5, Scene 1, The Tempest. Today, we shall continue the same. The objectives for this video are: by the end of this video, you will be able to understand the explanation of lines 129 till 171, understand the meanings of difficult words as used in the context, and understand related literary devices and references. So far, you have read that when Prospero appears before Alonso and his party, they all look on, unsure whether this is mere enchantment or if it is really Prospero before them. Prospero speaks to Alonso, identifies himself, and then gives Alonso a hug. Alonso, stunned, immediately returns Prospero's dukedom and asks for Prospero's forgiveness. Alonso also wants to know how Prospero survived and ended up on this island. Prospero takes a moment to praise the Honorable Gonzalo before turning to Antonio and Sebastian. He says to Alonso and Sebastian that he could say some things about them that would raise a couple of eyebrows, or rather that would invite the wrath of the king on them, but out of kindness of his heart he will keep them to himself. The pair of traitors is not even a bit ashamed or sorry. Still, Prospero forgives them. Sebastian claims that devil speaks in Prospero because otherwise he would never have come to know about their conspiracy to kill Alonso. Now, let us continue with the explanation. Open your The Tempest textbooks at page number 156. Let's read lines 129 till 133. Prospero. Aside to Sebastian. No. So children, Prospero speaks this word no in response to Sebastian's words that devil speaks in Prospero. So Prospero ignores Sebastian's words. He says that whatever Sebastian is saying is false. And then he turns to Antonio. To Antonio. For you, most wicked sir, whom to call brother would even infect my mouth, I do forgive thy rankest fault, all of them, and require my dukedom of thee, which perforce I know thou must restore. Wicked sir means vile gentleman or evil gentleman. Infect means defile or pollute. Rankest fault means most heinous crime. All of them means all your faults. Require means demand. Perforce means whether you like it or not. Restore means give back. So turning to Antonio, Prospero says that so far as he is concerned, he is a most wicked gentleman or an evil gentleman. He says that to describe him as his brother would mean that he is polluting his mouth. In spite of that, Prospero forgives him his worst fault. In fact, he forgives him his all faults. And then he tells him that he must return Prospero's dukedom back, whether he likes it or not. Now, let us read the gist of the text. When Sebastian claims that the devil speaks in Prospero, he ignores this and addresses Antonio as an evil man. He says that to call him brother would defile his mouth. Still, he forgives his treacherous brother Antonio, wholeheartedly, even his worst sin. In fact, he forgives him all his sins. Finally, Prospero demands his dukedom back from Antonio, which he cannot hold, even if he wants to. Now, let us continue with the reading of next lines. Lines 134 till 139. Alonso, if thou beest Prospero, give us particulars of thy preservation, how thou hast met us here, whom 3 hours since were wrecked upon this shore, where I have lost. How sharp the point of this remembrance is, my dear son Ferdinand. Prospero, I am woe for it, sir. Now, particulars means detailed account. Preservation means how you have been saved. Wrecked means destroyed. This shore refers to the shore of this island. How sharp the point of this remembrance is. How poignant is the memory of the loss of my son. I am woe for it means I am sorry about it. So children, Alonso asks Prospero if he is really Prospero, then he should give them the details by means of which he still remains alive. And he should tell them how he has met them here on this island. Which island, children? The uninhabited island. He says that they were destroyed here. They were wrecked here, or their ship was destroyed, so they reached this island. So they were destroyed here just 3 hours ago. He also tells Prospero that on this island he lost his dear son Ferdinand, and this loss is very painful to him. The very thought of the loss of his son sends a pang through his heart. Now, let us read the gist of the lines. Alonso says that if he is Prospero, then he should give them the details of how he was saved, how he met them there when they were just shipwrecked there 3 hours ago, when he lost his dear son Ferdinand. Prospero says that he is sorry about Alonso's loss. Now let us continue with the next lines. Lines 140 till 144. Alonso says, irreparable is the loss, and patience says it is past her cure. So children, here word her has been used for patience. So here it has been personified. Prospero, I rather think you have not sought her help, of whose soft grace for the like loss I have her sovereign aid, and rest myself content. Alonso, you the like loss? Patience says it is past her cure means I cannot learn to bear it patiently. Sought means searched. Soft grace means kind favor. Like means similar. Sovereign means supreme. Content means satisfied. When Prospero feels sorry about Alonso's loss, Alonso says that it is such a loss that even patience can bring him no solace. Now Prospero gets an opportunity to reprimand Alonso. He says that Alonso has not made full use of the grace, of the kind grace, or he has not made full use of the kind favor of the powers of patience or endurance. Indeed, Prospero himself has suffered a similar loss, but due to gentle kindness of patience and supreme help given to him by patience, he is able to bear his loss without any complaint. He is satisfied. Now Alonso is surprised to hear that Prospero has also suffered from a similar loss. Now, let us read the gist of the text. Alonso expresses his great grief at the loss of his son Ferdinand, the grief which is still fresh and painful. Prospero mildly reprimands him for lack of his patience. He tells Alonso that he has not cultivated patience, which enables a man to endure his grief. Prospero himself has suffered the same loss, the loss of his daughter, but he is schooled in patience. He no more feels it. Patience is a sovereign remedy for the griefs and sorrows of life. Now, let us continue with lines 145 till 148. Prospero says, as great to me as late, and supportable to make the dear loss, have I means much weaker than you may call to comfort you, for I have lost my daughter. Late means recent, supportable means bearable, dear loss means deep loss, means way of living, comfort, console. Alonso is surprised to hear that Prospero also has suffered from a similar loss. To this, Prospero answers that it is a great loss, and you can say it is as great a loss as it is recent. Prospero says that he has much weaker means to comfort him in the loss that he has suffered. Actually, children, he is trying to say that he does not have the same means of comforting himself as Alonso has, because Alonso has lost his son, but his daughter Claribel is still alive. So Prospero here tells Alonso that he has lost his daughter. Now, let us read the gist of the text. Prospero continues to mystify Alonso. He tells Alonso that he has suffered a loss just as great and just as recent as that of Alonso. He says that he has much less means to comfort himself than Alonso has, since he has lost his daughter and Alonso still has his daughter alive. Now, children, keep in mind, Alonso thinks that his son is lost, though he is really not. And Prospero has lost his daughter in the sense that his daughter is going to marry Ferdinand. Now, let us continue with lines 148 till 152. Alonso, a daughter? Oh heavens, that they were living both in Naples, the king and queen there. That they were, I wish myself were mudded in the oozy bed where my son lies. When did you lose your daughter? Now Alonso is amazed to hear that Prospero has lost his daughter. He says that he wishes that his son and Prospero's daughter were both living, alive. They were married and they were in Naples as the king and queen there. If it were possible that by his own death they should be alive, then he would gladly have taken his son's place in his grave at the oozy bed, that is the muddy bottom of the sea. Then he asks Prospero, when did he lose his daughter? Let us read the gist of the text. Alonso is grief-stricken to hear that Prospero has lost his daughter. He wishes that Ferdinand and Miranda were alive and living in Naples as king and queen. He says that he would give up his life and take his son's place in the mud on the ocean floor if he could see them alive in Naples. He then asks Prospero, when did he lose his daughter? I hope you have understood till here. Now, let us continue with lines 153 till 164. Prospero, in this last tempest, I perceive these lords at this encounter do so much admire that they devour their reason, and scarce think their eyes do offices of truth. Their words are natural breath. But howsoever you have been jostled from your senses, know for certain that I am Prospero, and that very Duke which was thrust forth of Milan, who most strangely upon this shore where you were wrecked was landed, to be the lord on it. No more of this, for 'tis a chronicle of day by day, not a relation for a breakfast, nor befitting this first meeting. Now, children, note down the meanings of difficult words. Tempest means storm, perceive means see, encounter means meeting, devour their reason means seem to have lost their reason or judgment. Scarce means hardly. Do offices of truth means do not deceive them. Their words are natural breath means that the words they utter are their own and come naturally from them. Jostled means pushed out. Thrust means expelled. Strangely means surprisingly. Chronicle means story or narrative. Relation means narration. And befitting means suitable to. So, children, in these lines, Prospero tells Alonso that he lost his daughter in the tempest, in the recent storm which raged here some time ago. Prospero now observes that the courtiers are still wonderstruck, and wonder makes them forget the reason. So he says that he can see that these lords wonder so much at this strange meeting. They seem to have done away with their reason. They seem to have lost their reason or judgment. They can hardly think whatever their eyes are showing them is reality. In other words, they can scarcely believe what they see is true, or that their words are human speech. Then he says that it does not matter that they have lost their senses. He tells them, or he assures them, that he is Prospero, the very Duke who was expelled from Milan and who most surprisingly, or who under strange circumstances landed upon this shore, or the shore of this island where they all were wrecked. After reaching the island, he became the lord on it. But he says that he will not depict them anything more about this, because it is a story that cannot be narrated at one sitting, for example, during the breakfast, or it is not something to be narrated to them at their first meeting. Now let us read the gist of the text. Prospero tells Alonso that he lost his daughter in the last tempest, meaning that Ferdinand has robbed him of his daughter. All this talk has not in the least diminished the wonder of the courtiers, good and bad alike, who still stand amazed. Wonder makes them forget reason, with the result that they stand bewildered with open mouths. Wonder again makes them stand still with staring eyes and disbelieve the evidence of their eyes. Wonder again distorts their voices so much that their words do not appear to be those of human beings. Prospero tells the courtiers that it does not matter that they have lost their reason. He assures them that he is Prospero, that same Duke who was kicked out of Milan and landed on the same island where they landed and became the lord of it. But he says that he won't narrate this story anymore now, for it will take days to tell. It is not a suitable story for breakfast time, nor suitable for this first meeting. Now, let us continue with lines 165 till 171. To Alonso, welcome, sir. This sells my coat. Here have I few attendants, and subjects none abroad. Pray you, look in. My dukedom since you have given me again, I will requite you with as good a thing, at least bring forth a wonder to content you as much as me my dukedom. Court means royal court, attendants, servants. None abroad means none outside this cell. Requite means repay. Bring forth means produce. Wonder means miracle. Content means satisfy. So in these lines, Prospero addresses Alonso. He welcomes him to his cell, which is now his royal court. He says that here he has no servants or attendants, and he has no subjects outside this cell. He then requests Alonso to look into his cell. As Alonso has restored his dukedom to him, so Prospero will also surprise him with a wonder and revelation which will satisfy him as fully as the restoration of his dukedom has made him much satisfied. Let us read the gist of the text. Prospero welcomes Alonso. He says that this room or the cell is his royal court. He says that he has hardly any servants and no subjects outside this room. Prospero requests Alonso to have a look inside his cell or his room. Since Alonso has given his dukedom back to him, he will give Alonso something equally nice, or at least he will give him an amazement to satisfy him as much as the dukedom satisfies him. So children, this brings us to the end of today's lesson. I hope you have understood these lines. So, for your homework children, solve the assignment given to you in your SNAP homework. Thank you.